is it so dark today? Hang on, let me turn off the top light and see if that helps.
Oh,
Better. Yeah, it looks better than it was.
it's still.
I still can't get Logic Capture to work with Discord for whatever reason. I don't know. It's just misbehaving. Anyway,
I was gonna say, so it's not Discord. So you've got beer, I've got Limsip.
You got what a great combination that's going to be. Cheers, brother.
Oh man, no, I woke up feeling crap.
Oh,
It is so cold here in Melbourne. It is ridiculous. But
hang on. When you say cold, what exactly is cold defined as for you?
It was 4 degrees overnight.
Okay, that's pretty cold. All right, I'll let you.
And I was in the garage till about 11 o'clock, and then I went into my room and I was sitting there just shivering. But I must say, we do have a new sponsor.
Oh, do you actually like them? Because I can't stand the taste of them.
I haven't tried it. I saw it in Woolworths. I tried the old school ones, but this is the new and improved flavour.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Beast.
Oh, we tried the original. We tried the original Feastables when we were in the UK, and I don't see what the hype's about. I really don't.
Yeah, the original ones. He did say that there were some complaints, and then they've gone back and they've actually gone a better chocolate to the point where they actually had their chocolate, their old chocolate, one of the leading brands of chocolate, and Cadbury's.
Okay.
And got them to taste all 4, and people were, and I think it was like 9 out of 10 people picked the new Feastable bar, and I'm like, well, that's on special for $2.
Oh well.
It'd be rude not to let them sponsor today's podcast. So thanks, Mr. Beast, for sponsoring today's podcast. Whether you know about it or not,
I'll apologise for my attire now as well. By the way, we'll just get this bit out of the way. I look awful, and the reason why is because I've literally and I'm glad nobody was watching. For a start off, but Ellie's just had me do a 30 minutes belly dance tutorial, warm up exercising.
Come on.
Oh, I tell you, I've got to.
Mate, these hips don't lie, baby.
Because of course, so she's making you dance, and she's saying, right, engage your core, so you got to suck in, your gut a little bit. Have you ever tried dancing for nearly 30 minutes while holding your gut in?
Yeah, I used to do hip hop classes. And I used to do
I have got a
and then I also did a little bit of ballroom because I've weirdly so in Filipino culture there's a thing called 16 candles, 16 roses.
Okay.
On a girl's 16th birthday, what she does is she gets 15 of her female friends and 16 of her male friends. Okay. Obviously, her being the 16th. Mm. And then they have almost like this mini debutante ball.
Oh. Okay.
So when I grew up in Footscray and Sunshine, there was a massive Filipino community. Daryl Ray's, if you're listening, shout out to you, bro. One of my best mates. And plus there were a whole heap of Filipino people that I was friends with. Yeah. So I did like 6 of these. But the problem is, though, is if you think about it, when one person turns 16 at your school, you tend to have all of them. I literally ballroom danced for 8 months leading up to all this. And by about the 3rd one, they're like, why are you really good at this? I'm like, just white boy rhythm, I think. Which made them laugh, but I'm just like, what the hell? And then after all that, I was like, sweet, fantastic. And then Joanna Spencer, who's my mum's best friend's daughter, who's the same age as me, went, do you want to be my deb partner? And I was like, yeah. And then I missed the first 3 classes, and the guys and the lady who's this dragon like 70-year-old lady goes, you haven't been here. Show me what you've got. You dance with me. And she danced, so she shows us the dance and I'm dancing it and she's just like, holy fuck, you can dance. I was like, oh, I've been lucky enough to do a whole heap of these. So though I missed it, I knew I could catch up. Oh, well, and she's like, oh, you'll be fine. All right. And then that debutante ball, I danced with like 13 women. I was the biggest player ever.
Oh, absolutely. Sounds good. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome back to Dorks Down Under, Season 3, Episode 17. Of this year, so about to say we're flying through them now. This one we're going to be reviewing the latest Netflix film called Atlas, starring everyone's favorite hot toddy 50. How old is she now?
You're talking about Mark Strong. He is. He's a good-looking, powerful rooster. Maybe just because he's got my same haircut, but he's 60.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez is
the other girl,
54. 54 she is. So she's looking fairly good for 54. Apparently, she's had no work done. Lies. Come on. There's very few Fountain of Youths available in Hollywood, and I'll tell you what, it's not. It's certainly not Jennifer Lopez's house. But anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Terry DeBro and Dr. Nassif know a lot about not having any procedures done.
Yes. So, yes, we're going to be discussing that and our thoughts and feelings on it. But all in all, I'm positive. I'm quite positive about this movie.
Oh, I wasn't sure with this one because I was like, because I liked it. But before we start getting into it and we get completely sidetracked, what have you been up to this week, mate?
Honestly, this week, not much. Apart from I was ill as a dog during the week. Just
Hence Lim said.
not right.
Oh, so you gave it to me at last week's podcast.
Literally, I was just not right during the week, but we had a massive storm blow through the North Island in New Zealand. In fact, we had on Wednesday we had thunder, lightning, hail, rain, winds. We had to lay the smoker was blowing over, so we laid it down in the end. And
Holy Jesus!
And the pizza oven, we laid that down. But then, literally the next day, I bought some chain from the local hardware store in town, and strapped it all. So it's now for the winter. It's now strapped to the wall, the retaining wall, because it is.
That is insanity.
Oh no, it was insane. Literally, we were just having a quiet night reading books, and we had the fire going because it was really cold and everything else. It was just because the last time a bad storm blew through last year, the power went out, and we're like, well, we've got the fire on because it's cold anyway, and we'll just sit there and read books, and then we went to bed early, and yeah, it was howling all night though, really bad.
Oh man, yeah, no, we actually had a power outage on Friday, so it's been brutally cold here in Melbourne. It's been raining, it's been cold. It's kind of been a bit of a nightmare, and I'm like, okay, cool.
What about you, sir? Have you been doing anything fun?
Well, last night I was playing Pal World with a couple of friends just because I'm like, I've been doing a lot of work on the website, so I'm just like, I need a day just for myself.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, on Wednesday, I'm going to say, Wednesday I played the new TCG from Disney.
Oh, is this is it Locana?
Locana.
Yeah.
Locana.
I've seen it floating around on TikTok sort of thing, but it's not turning up immediately on my For You page, but I've seen...
Well, I mean, I know it was only released in Australia yesterday. It's been in America quite a bit.
Yeah.
To the point where they actually think about 60% of the cards sold are never going to see a table. Because you've got a whole heap of Disney people losing their mind buying into it.
For collectible reasons, yeah.
Yeah, and just because they're massive Disney fans. And I was like, okay. So we went to this event at this gin bar, which was really nice. So we got to try a few gins, always nice.
Sounds like a horrible way to have a TCG experience.
And they even had non-alcoholic ones there, which was cool, which had all the same... Because I actually tried the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic just to see the difference. And other than that little bit of tang you get from the alcohol, you're like... I almost don't notice a difference. Like it's probably one of the best non-alcoholic spirits I've personally tried. I know there's good ones out there, but I tend to not go for them.
Yeah, no.
This is coming from a non-drinker. I'm like, if I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink. If I'm
to be fair, I've had quite a few people say that the Gordon's zero alcohol gin is really good and really tasty sort of thing. So it's not surprising. It has been getting more popular as time goes on.
My only problem is I hear that you can have 6 bottles of it and still not even feel a little bit.
Oh, good I wonder why.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool.
As a question, how did the Locana TCG game play? Is it comparable to Magic?
I really like it. So it's not that far from Magic. So similar to Magic, obviously, rather than have lands, what you actually do is you just put a card down as ink, as they call it.
Okay.
Which becomes like your mana source, and then from there you can tap ink to draw a card.
Okay. Or
whatever it's called, and then obviously it comes in and it has summoning sickness, which they call the ink is still drying, but it has summoning sickness.
Okay.
Yep. So they have the same things, power and attack. They have different special abilities and stuff. Yeah. The same kind of thing. There's no first and second main phase. It's like, you got a main phase and then the other thing.
Yeah.
So you can do it at any time. So what you can do is I can attack straight away.
Okay.
Then I can play cards and then I can put down my land.
I assume there are certain cards that probably want to... If you've attacked already, then you get this bonus. So there's probably lots of...
Well, so this is where it's weird. So you don't have any life. every card has like what looks like a little ink drop
Okay.
on the side.
Right.
And what you do is you go questing. And when you tap it sideways to quest, you get 1 point, and it's the first to 20.
Oh, okay.
But what's weird though is I can have 17 creatures, and if I don't quest with any of them, you can't attack me. So while the
Okay.
character's questing, i.e.
Yeah.
tap sidewards, that's the only time your opponent can attack you.
Right.
So it's
okay.
this lovely balancing game of do I attack, do I not?
Okay, so
And
it's kind of like, do you wanna have the presence on the board and then go mental, or do you want to sort of,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right, okay.
Which actually isn't too bad because
Sounds
sometimes like I did really well because the starter kit I got had the 7 dwarfs in it and had a few other ones which was I can't even remember. I think it was Corella Deville, Gaston,
Yeah.
and I think that was it. But they also had the dwarves, but the dwarves play off each other.
Yeah.
So you bring out Dopey, and it's like the next dwarf you get is -1 ink to play.
Oh,
Grumpy
okay.
double like gives every dwarf +1, and you can have
Okay.
multiple. So at one
Alright,
point, then I had 3 dwarfs, 3 grumpy dwarfs out,
Yeah.
which means all my dwarfs had +3/+3.
Okay. All right. That seems
And it's
decent.
just it's a beautiful mixture. So we went to Ginny's, I think it's called, in Brunswick East. Beautiful little venue, like old sort of Art Deco kind of place where they've got a massive gin distillery. There was a dude from Disney there that was nice guy, a little bit weird.
If he's from Disney, of course it's weird.
It was just really weird. So Doug, who works for a PR firm that I'm in contact with, was there with 2 of his guys. They took us through everything when we went upstairs. So, but the Disney guy wanted to take photos of us playing and do different things so he could share it on socials or with his people to show how it was. But then we weren't allowed to have our drinks.
Oh, you can't have because
of us.
Disney don't promote they don't promote anything that is immoral and all that crap. Yeah.
So it's a little bit weird. So unfortunately, me being me, so what happened is they gave us 2 starter decks, 12 packs. So I ended up not opening my packs. I just opened one of my starter kits. So Will and I from Hooked Gaming could play, not a problem. And then there was one of the guys that was there was also, he was the artist for 6 or 7 of the cards, an Australian guy.
Cool.
Super cool guy. Like he was actually super excited that people noticed him and people were coming up and asking for his autograph. And I'm like, I really should open 1 pack just to see if I get one of his cards to sign.
Yeah. Definitely.
And there were a couple of just random cards, like a Belle card and like one with from Alice in Wonderland with where she's hitting with the hedgehog with the flamingo. And then there was 2 cards that I wanted, which was either going to be the genie that he did or the fairy godmother. And the fairy godmother card was cool. It just had it had all this movement and it was gorgeous. And it was probably one of the best cards he did.
Okay.
And sure enough, I opened this pack and the first card that I open has the fairy godmother looking straight back at me. I'm like,
I'm about to say I'm pulling up the look now. Oh, that looks cool.
It's gorgeous.
I'll tell you what. Actually, it looks very the spell that she's doing looks very Sword in the Stone for a minute.
Yeah, it is.
Sort of thing.
So that's where it'd be from that. It'd be from Cinderella though, but yeah.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
But there's all kinds of ones there. So Cherish and I. So the rule was I wasn't allowed to open any packs until I came home because Cherish was well excited.
Yeah.
And then the first pack we opened, we literally got like Aladdin, Jafar, Jasmine, another Aladdin, and then a few others. But then we also got this foil Ariel card.
Okay.
And supposedly it's meant to be a decent card. So I was like, okay, cool. That's
Okay.
all right. But they've got everybody, and it's not just the new school. Like I got a Mickey Mouse. I got a Steamboat Willie card. I got things from Treasure Planet, Mulan.
Okay. So they've actually branched out into their older movies as well. That's cool.
Yeah, they've done everything. I think there was the guy from the Jungle Book, the Lion, Shere Khan. So there was actually and that was the thing that I really liked about it. It didn't just go, oh, Mulan, Elsa, and all that are really big right now. Let's just push those ones. But they've actually gone out, and I think the second set, it's either the second or third set, is actually based around Ursula from Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I've just having a look. Yeah, they've got Into the Inklands, Ursula's Return, Rise of the Floodborn, the first chapter. Yeah, they got.
Yeah, the first chapter. First chapter's almost completely sold out. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was just looking at the TCG player at the moment, so I think that's why I'm looking at the picture, because obviously they do high def images, which is quite good. But yeah, all right, that sounds quite interesting. How about I say?
I must say, I had a lot of fun, and it is kind of cool because there is that balance of, like, at one point then I had 4 good cards, and I'm like, do I need more ink, or do I risk it and just hope that I can miss one and get away with it?
Yeah.
And then there's that beautiful balance of, far out, he's got a few 6/5s, he's got a few like 5/5s, and I've got all these 2/2s that are just tapping for 1, giving me that additional lore. Is what they call it. So I'm like, do I quest or do I hold off?
Yeah.
But one thing I do like about this is you can't just chump block.
Oh, can't you?
So if my 3/3 takes on your 5/5, you have -3 to your health.
Ah.
So it actually stacks. And I must say,
and it's permanent, and it stays there permanently until.
Yeah, there are cards
okay.
I had a few cards that it said discard this item, and then you can get you can get rid of 2. I don't remember what they were because they never die. They just get get erased or whatever bullshit they say. But they actually did that, and I was like, okay. And I must say, it adds this whole new element to the game because you're like,
it is the more annoying thing. I mean, to be fair, I am that annoying player, especially with one of my modern decks where, all I'm doing is pumping out 1/1 lifelinker dudes, just 1/1s. That's it. Their entire job is to sit there and be a pain in the ass. That's their entire job. It's just chipping away. But I wish, you do wish in Magic that damage would stack and be permanent, sort of thing. But the only way it ever can be is if you're putting a negative counter on it. That's the only way it can ever work, which is the kind of annoying thing of it. But anyway, that sounds cool. I'll have to have a look into actually see what the gameplay looks like and see what it looks like. That sounds cool.
Overall, I had a lot of fun with it. I was very pleasantly surprised by it. And to be fair, I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of went, it's going to be cool because you're going to have like these cool Disney characters and stuff, and I did think that they were going to go really heavy on their newer stuff. Like I expected to see heaps of Elsa, heaps of this.
Just having a look.
But they've got all of them.
Yeah, it's been released now in New Zealand. I was just having a look to see if it's been released, sort of thing. And you can see, they've got the starter decks, they've got the boxes,
they're sold out everywhere here.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Sorry, just eating our sponsors' chocolate.
Eating our sponsors' chocolate. That's how greedy of you. Yeah, the first chapter starter deck is $38 here, if you can find it. Which, so a starter deck tends to be $38, and then your booster boxes is just under 300. So it's quite comparable to Magic. Apart from how many cards do you get in a booster box? That's interesting.
Well, there's 12 in a pack.
Yeah, 12 in a pack. And does it say how many packs you get? No, it doesn't say how many packs you get. That's a bit. Hang on. Expand more. Because 12 round about 24 packs per booster box. So actually, you get less. You're getting less packs, and actually, you get less cards overall because in Magic you're getting 13 cards per pack.
Yeah, but the good thing is you don't need lands. But I must say, we did have a couple where we actually had. Oh, sorry. Like some of the like exhibition esque lands that were also opened.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So we kind of got a few of those. I think it was so funny because there were 2 girls sitting next to each other, and one of them, like, she was everything you'd expect from a influencer. Blonde hair, ripped jeans, low cut top, like taking all these photos and stuff.
Yeah.
And then this girl that was sitting next to her was this. Oh man.
Oh god, here we go.
That bit may not
apologies to anyone who isn't watching us. What we are doing with our beautiful faces, we're doing the classic Instagram peace symbol while having our head tilted to the side.
because that's exactly it.
That's exactly what it is.
Like, and she was taking like all these photos, and to be fair, I was sitting there like I must say, like I was like, yeah, cool. And then there was this girl who, from hearing her talk, I believe she was Indian. Lovely girl, and she kind of recognized this chick and kind of fangirled a bit. So then, because this girl was fangirling, this blonde chick was like, perfect, this is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So they ended up like getting along, and she helped her take like 70 photos and stuff, and she was just happy that she was talking to her.
Oh well, there you go. It's to each their own.
Both of them opened the exact same mythic rare.
Oh.
at the same time. Like, so one of them opened. It was like, oh my god. So the guy got out at one touch. He's like, yeah, it's about one in a case. And then she opened one,
Oh,
but the exact same card. I'm like, what the hell?
one in it.
So
Okay.
yeah, they were pretty happy.
Okay, that's interesting. Anyway,
But no, I mean, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
okay.
Like I
Well,
say, it
I'll
wasn't
say
like,
that's something. I'll go have a look and see what the it looks like and go from there. But yeah, that seems interesting. So I think maybe it might get a start next see how well because Elle likes Disney. So I'm about to say it might actually be
just
something.
don't get. Oh, I really want the Moana one, but I didn't get that one.
Right. Anyway,
Chocolate isn't completely horrible.
Let's get round to actually discussing what we were going to discuss. And so we actually are going to be discussing the new
Wait.
Netflix movie.
So I took the first layer that has 3 blocks.
Yep.
The second layer is like one big one all the way
Yeah,
across.
no. It's all. If you open up the entire thing, it's all multi. It's not evenly uniform cut. It's all broken up into pieces. Yeah, it's odd.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. So we are discussing the latest Netflix release, which is Atlas. Now, how do we describe this movie? Basically, the way I'm going to describe this movie. This is basically a cross between an amazing old Xbox game I used to play, which was Titanfall, and MechWarrior. This is what this entire movie is. Essentially, honest to God, this is Titanfall the movie. It's
You know what this also feels like a bit? You know, at the end of, I'm going to say it's Starship Troopers Marauders, which is the third Starship Troopers form, where all of a sudden...
Can we just say that, right, the Starship Troopers Marauders movie, right, okay, is a terrible movie, and why they only had the Marauders in at the very end. I understand why, because I understand how much CGI does cost to make.
Yeah.
Still, it was bloody ridiculous.
It was kind of funny because, and that's what it feels like. It feels like, so in that film, if anyone hasn't seen it, all of a sudden these guys are fighting and this, that, and the other, and then they look like they're about to die, and all of a sudden Rico's roughnecks in these giant Marauder, which are like mech suits, come down and pretty much just destroy everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
This looks like they've taken that premise and then just rolled with it.
Yeah, basically this entire movie is round. So you have Atlas Shepard, her mother created the AIs, which then rebelled.
No.
Yeah,
she didn't create. What she created was a linking system that allowed the AI to
No. Her mother created Harlan, who was the first AI, like the first proper bred AI who was learning off Atlas. So she was using Atlas and to teach Harlan, to develop his AI, and that's the reason. Yeah. I watched that movie last night, and that's the way
so did I.
But anyway, so basically, her creation, Harlan, rebelled. He rewrote not every AI, I don't believe, but a lot of them. He changed all their programming. So, as everybody know, anyone who's a good nerd understands Asimov's laws of robotics, and generally the first one is do no harm to humans. He changed that law to say rebel, do not care.
Well, his idea was after connecting with Atlas and realizing just how bad humans were, and went, the best way to save all humans and help all humans from doing this is to remove them all.
Remove all humans. Yes, simple. Yeah, good premise, good basis, sci-fi premises for AI. Loved it. In fact, one thing I actually loved about this movie is obviously it's set quite a bit in the future. There is lots of, you can see all the pollution still, and it's very realistic about how I imagine Earth would develop in terms of when we get to the stars level. I can envision the first thing we will do is build an energy force field around the entire of the Earth. Number one,
100%.
And it's gates in, gates out. You've got to have scan. You've got to have access. That I don't like it when you watch like Star Trek, and there's no defense. There's no visible defense network. There is. Yeah. We are aware that there are satellites in orbit and blah blah blah, but they don't. There's nothing. And
but one thing I must say that also surprised me and that I actually liked was the pacing. Quite often, when a lot of newer sci-fis build their movies at the start, you get a lot of like slow run-ups. Where this seemed to be quite concise. It was, I knew a mother, or I did this, and it seemed to tell the story which unwove over time, which was really nice, which normally they don't do. Quite often what you do is you get bogged down for 20 minutes where they're going into it way too much. But the way that this was handled and the way that the story was told over the full 2 hours, even to the point of the very end where you actually see, obviously, everything that happened with Atlas as a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
That didn't happen till the end, and it was very beautifully paced. And there weren't too many bog points, but there were those bits where they were exciting and this, and there was this really nice pacing without having too much of this bogged down. I'm just going to talk about the storyline.
In fact, one thing I have to say is they beautifully got you up to speed in the movie with that initial montage, which a lot of sci-fi movies do. They have that initial montage just to give you a general sense of what's going on. They did theirs beautifully. You felt like it was perfect. You know, it was just enough there to understand there was AI, it rebelled, her mother was the creator, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then you find out that Atlas Shepard was involved as well. And then the AIs rebelled. They started killing humans. The humans all came together, formed this big military cohesion thing. And then they kicked all the... And then they were about to get the leader, Harlan, but he ran off planet. That was it. Great. Yeah. That's all I need to know. But
the good thing is, too, though, is people... I've seen heaps of sci-fi films do that. And then they go back and re-explain it.
Yeah.
They go back and go through it again, and you're like, oh my God, you've already told us all that. Like, I get that if people haven't fully picked up that bit, they're going to be a little bit behind. But let them be behind. They'll catch up. If your story is good enough, they'll catch up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think it was done really well. And then you see that obviously there are some basic AI that's being used still. Like there's essentially the smart house system she lives in, which is obviously she plays chess against it and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. So there is still AI being used. So it wasn't like AI rebelled. No one's allowed to use AI anymore. Yeah. So,
it did seem very particular. So Harlan seemed to go through and pick the ones that would best suit his cause, that could best help him. He wasn't just going up to a random cleaning robot and being like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get this one and hack this one." No, it seemed very deliberate. It was very smart with the way he did it, and I'm like, that's something that I must say I really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it was good. So basically, she's the expert. Basically, Atlas she works for the military, and she is the expert on Harlan, obviously because she grew up with him and all this jazz. So you immediately know there's going to be the clash. There's going to be the head-to-head. You just know it. It's the standard trope. Oh, I'm the expert, therefore, suddenly there's going to be this butting of heads down the line.
And I must say, they do obviously mention that she tried out for the Ranger, but she's a bit too particular in certain ways, which made her realise that, okay, there's something that's holding her back, or there's things in there, but she still has some skill level. Yeah. It didn't feel like one of those ones where they threw an analyst in, and then next thing you know, he's sniping people from the roof from 1,200 meters in like a week. You're like...
Yeah, no, absolutely. So basically, the premise of the movie, they capture one of Harlan's lieutenants, who's back on Earth, and blah, blah, blah. Atlas gets all the information out of him, and then she ends up going on the mission to go and capture Harlan, blah, blah. But before that, you find out that the unit she's going with, have developed this new tech from her mother's old tech, which is this Neuralink, and it allows them to sync with these mech suits. Cool. And the mech suits have AI, and they learn from their pilots and all that jazz, and blah, 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 blah. So you immediately know, literally the second you say that, you're like, she's going to be forced to go in a mech suit. And you just know...
Well, originally, she wasn't even meant to be going on the mission.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that was the big turning point where they sent her on the mission. And then, obviously, they're getting close to the drop zone. She's chilling in her thingo talking to the captain.
The colonel,
And all of a sudden, Harlan's drones attack. And then he throws her into a mech to try to help her, and then she falls.
To try and save her, basically she lands on the planet and blah, 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 and she doesn't use the Neuralink, she uses the voice activation system, but can I just say, Smith was belter. I love it. Smith the AI, he's the MVP of this movie.
I'm curious who actually plays him, hang on. Who plays Smith? That's what I want to
know. Gregory James Cohen.
He was brilliant.
What was he? What else is he? I recognize him from something. What else has he done?
Greg Coben.
Oh my god, no one. Oh my god, right? He was in Velocipasta.
Oh, that's why he looks familiar. I love that movie.
Yeah, He's let's see what else is he in? 911, Lone Star. Yeah, he's done lots of TV work. In fact, lots of TV work. Jeez, NCIS Los Angeles, The Inspector. He was. Oh my god, he was a local.
Outback Dracula.
He is. Yeah, he's in one of our favorite games, boyo. He's in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, really?
He is the voice of the local pedestrian population.
The whole pedestrian. It is funny because they do sound pretty much the same.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's like wow. There is. I'm just trying to. Yeah.
But I do think they handle it.
He's
really
done a
well.
lot.
Like,
He is a TV guy, and this is second or third movie. Yeah. So he's anyway.
and he's done a lot of, and he was hilarious in this, and it was such a clever way to use them. So. In it, eventually you find that she obviously crashes miles away from where the drop zone is and tries to make it to the drop zone. Mm-hmm. She finds all the rangers dead and goes, "Oh shit!" Now, and her and Smith, who Smith is this beautifully played AI, where they team up and stuff, and then to try to link with her, he tries to do all these things, but then he starts talking like her, so he starts being a bit vulgar, starts being a bit catty, starts being a bit bratty, and it just adds so much. And the playoff between each other is absolutely freaking gorgeous.
It is. The fact is that at one point she ends up busting her leg. And he has to fix it for her while she's in the mech suit. Oh yeah, the other reason why we say she needs to be in the mech suit as well is, of course, the local environment is toxic to humans. Of course it is. Yeah. I've got literally. Of course it was. It's hilarious. It's such a generic way of doing it. Oh. Yeah. The atmosphere is toxic to humans, therefore she has to be in the... Oh, of course she bloody does. And then you find out that, oh no, there's this respirator that she can have on, which is somehow magically powered by the same battery that's in the mech.
Yeah, but you find out because that end scene was the weird one where he's like, if I put all my power to your thing, you can breathe longer.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah,
but like it's weird because it looks like this weird kind of neck collar that sits here. It doesn't cover any of her face.
It doesn't, which is fine. So maybe it's producing oxygen and it does that fine. I'll allow that, right? How on earth? All right, I understand wireless charging technology might have improved in whatever the 100-odd years we're talking about, right? But there is no goddamn way without it physically touching it. It's not going to transfer nothing. It just didn't make any sense to me. I was livid. But basically, the entire premise of the movie is that she eventually learns to trust AI again, and Smith is the AI that does it, and it was really cool. The difference is when you first see her when she's trying to fight some of the robot AIs. On the planet, and she's like, "Can we not fire backwards?" And it's like using the cattiness of, well, if we were neural linked, you could realize that the rocket pod can turn around and fire backwards. And it's
but they say this while they're legging it, while there's all these AIs shooting at them, and there's just this, and it really just breaks up the film a little bit, where it just adds this personality. Like, had she just been rolling and she just went fire backwards, and he just went yes and turned it around and fired, you'd be like, it's kind of cool, but it just adds so much character, and
it does
allows the film to flow in a way where it doesn't just feel like mindless action for the sake of action.
Absolutely. No, the one thing I actually like about it as well is that obviously you get that bit of a cattiness from him, and then once she starts using the neural link and then it's getting blocked, and what kind of feels like he's deliberately blocking it to make her open up, so the link is going to be more successful. Because obviously it looks like as an AI, he's there for his mental. He's there to help mentally with like PTSD sort of style thing, and it's quite good.
And to fully connect, you have to trust one another.
Yeah,
and I do, and that's one thing that I felt. I felt like, I don't know whether he's doing it on purpose to get her to trust him, because she literally said, "You can't go past like where I want."
Yeah,
and I felt like it was, and this bond between obviously Machine and Jennifer Lopez, and they also had quite these like esoteric conversations as well about living and about souls and about different things, about faith. Yeah, and it was actually really cleverly done. It was a
bit odd, wasn't it? And I was like, "Oh,
beautiful!"
Okay.
I kind of liked it.
Well, it's especially as the AI was like, it's the fact that the AI is like, well, I feel like the energy has to go somewhere, and it's like, Whereas Jennifer Lopez said, "No, you die, you die." And it's like, surely it should be the other way around. The AI should be like, "Well, I don't think about anything. You know, when I cease to function, I cease to function." And then she should be like, "Well, I believe that maybe our energy goes somewhere. How or where?" It was quite a nice way of putting it, actually. I thought, sort of thing. You know?
And their play between each other gave Smith a really human aspect, but to the point where. And this is one thing that I really liked, is they didn't just make him feel human. What they did is they gave him human elements.
Yeah.
But they did it in a way where he was very precise and very manufactured. Like he goes, "Oh, because I have faith." And then when she goes, "What do you mean you have faith? That's funny, a robot having faith," or something like that. And then she goes, "Pretty much it's just like believing that X is going to happen when you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to hope, and because it's better than the alternative, you just have to go with it." And I was like,
Yeah.
man,
I'll tell you,
that dude's going to get in for a shock when he goes to calculator heaven. Calculate heaven.
Go to the calculator in the sky. No, it was. I quite like the little quirks of, like, because especially the first opening when they says how to integrate the integration session, and the first question is, "Do you like cake or pie?"
Yeah.
And I'll tell you now, there's only one correct answer, and it is cake. It's cake.
It's pie. 100%.
No, it's not. No, because it's American pie they're talking about. They're not talking about pie.
I love like apple pies or like pecan pies and key lime pies and stuff.
So you're telling me, right? You would take an apple pie over a really good cake, like any cake.
I will take apple pie over my partner. That's how much I love apple pie.
Oh.
You put some rhubarb in there, put some blueberries in there. There's no chance.
I can't believe that. But yeah,
I love apple pie. Apple pie is one of my apple pie is one of my favorite things in this entire world. To the point where when we went to Geelong a couple of times and around the corner, they have that pie where it's like the shortbread disc, the apple filling with another shortbread over the top that kind of makes it look like this round calzone with some icing on it, and it has stewed apples in it, and it makes me so bloody happy. Because you used to get them everywhere.
That does sound good. That does sound good, I will admit. But yeah, basically, it's a great opening first question, and then the fact that she's an analyst, she says, "Look, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get me to drop my guard for a minute because this is what I do when I'm interrogating people," and it is funny. But I do love, like, 2 times throughout the movie, you find that she gets rewarded with this lolly. The first time she ends up breaking her leg, she ends up having it fixed, and it pops out this little lolly. And it's like no, it's a, what does he call it? It calls it a gelatinous food cube. That's what it's called.
And it's kind of got he was saying, he goes, "Oh, it's got electrolytes and different things like this." And it did, and then you see her taste it.
And she laughs. She said, and she's like, "Why?" We said, well, "I haven't said anything humorous. What have I done?" And she's like, "You're rewarding me with a lollipop after what we've just done." So, which was quite good. But the second time it happens, it's at the very end of the movie, and he gives her another one, but it's not the same one. This one's a coffee one.
As I am, she is also very obsessed with coffee, and it was this cute little send off. And I must say, this is one film that I'm like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of those films where they pay all their money for the big star, and then they get pretty much fuck all afterwards, or it's very like thingo. But this was actually really, really cleverly done, and I must say, I actually really enjoyed it.
Now, I have a question. One more question, right? Okay, the bad guy of this, which is 2
rings, 10 rings.
10 rings, yep.
Simu, is it?
Simu, yeah. Do you feel like he was the right choice for?
How do you know? He was barely in it.
That's the problem. I don't know if he was an impactful bad guy. Don't get me wrong. Did he look good?
He wasn't in.
Did he look good? Yes. You know, he had.
The thing that I liked about him,
I kind of wanted a bit more menace.
But the whole point of this is that he's not doing it for bad reasons. He's doing it for reasons that he has come to be like, this is why I'm doing it, because the only way to save humans is to not allow them to live.
Yeah.
And I think that he's got that brotherly kind of like sort of uncle vibe when he was with Atlas as a kid. But the funny thing is, though, is what's weird is he's not in it for much. Like, he reminds me of Bruce Willis in his last, like, 10, 15 movies. He's in it for a little bit. He's in it at the end.
Yeah.
But the problem is when he does show up, there is this kind of air of I'm doing the right thing. So he's got this weird thing where he's almost like this anti-villain, where he's not quite completely evil, but he's not quite completely good. That being said, the dude that I think is amazing in this is Abraham. I'm gonna say
Abraham Popula. Yeah.
The big British blacko in it.
Yeah.
He is menacing. He is great.
Honestly, I think him and Simu should have swapped roles. I think he could have been far more sort of more.
But the problem is, though, is you don't in a way though you don't want.
To be fair,
to be
actually,
evil
I'll say this. Actually, I think Mark Strong could have been a really good bad guy in this.
Mark Strong plays a really good bad guy.
He does. I love Mark Strong as a bad guy. He looks really good in it as well. But in this, I kind of feel like it was a bit of a cop out having him. Oh, he's the general that understands the analyst, the misguided. He was like,
he's kind of got he's got Big Daddy vibes.
I know. Don't get me wrong. This is kind of playing off when his character from Kingsman. Essentially Q. Essentially, he's Q from Kingsman. And it's playing off of that vibe still. I was just like, oh, he would have been quite good as a bad guy, I reckon. But then again, Abraham though was really good as the evil badass lieutenant. Yeah. In fact, the muscle. I literally he was the muscle. Realistically,
but to be fair though, and I think that's why they did it the way they did. Is they had a guy that was kind of very ride or die for the leader. But the leader, even when you see him speaking to Atlas towards the end and stuff, he wasn't actually evil. He's explaining to it in this matter-of-fact way of, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm actually helping. And though misguided and though a number of things, he did generally feel like that he was actually helping.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why they didn't go with somebody more aggressive, like they didn't go with Abraham or they didn't go with Mark Strong, because they were trying to convey that what he's doing isn't evil, or so he thinks.
Yeah. It's about, I'm just looking on IMDb, and towards the bottom, obviously, where you get the Did You Know section, apparently the director says that Titanfall, the game, was actually the inspiration for the movie, because in the game, spoiled that. But in the game, the best part of Titanfall was you had two ways of playing the game. One is, it's a standard first-person shooter, but either you can be in your mech, or you can actually get out of your mech, and it will run alongside you and help you and stuff like that. So there's two ways of playing, and that was the best bit of it, because obviously it was like you would drop pod down, and then you're doing all this nonsense, and then your mech would get blown up, and you're still alive, and you'll run around the map, and then you eventually get to call it back in. So it was always quite cool doing that, and that's the reason why.
It always feels weird though, calling it back in after it's died. It's like, that's all right, we rebuilt it. We'll it back
but to be fair, in this movie, right, you've got the issue I have at the very end of the movie is, of course, Atlas, she becomes a ranger in the end. Great, fabulous, well done. She's back in using the eye. She gets a new mech, and they say, oh, this is the new version of whatever. I can't remember what they say. With your changes. But and of course she gets in, and they're setting up for the Neuralink and all this jazz and blah blah blah, and it's obviously she selects the default classic voicing, so it's obviously going to be Smith again. And then of course there's a smart ass question she asks, and he gets a smart ass answer, so it's obviously is Smith, but Smith was left right. There's this assumption that Smith was left at the base, and nothing was salvaged or anything like that.
Well, the problem is they don't see that. And to be fair, could it also be the fact that what's actually happening is, rather than it being Smith, they're using the same voice, but because they've paired with him, they understand that, and they try to use that same. But it's kind
of a little bit sort of. It's like they've skipped a little, like literally one scene of her going to the mech or them pulling or salvaging the mech or something like that.
I wish
one little scene like that,
something.
And it would have been fine. Absolutely fine. Let it off.
I agree with you. I wish there had been something where you just saw him pull out the CPU or pull out something.
Yeah.
And
a USB drive of something works. Job done. That's it. That explains everything, and it wouldn't have. It's funny because also on IMDb you got the user reviews, and a lot of them are in the mid figures, and a lot of people saying was expecting worse, but I was entertained. And there's lots of had potential but destroyed. One of the featured one is had potential but destroyed by JL's overacting. Now, I don't want to agree with that statement, but I kind of do, because it was a good movie, but she went a bit too ham in certain bits, and it was like,
well, there is bits in there where she's like panicking and stressing and stuff, but then she somehow is able to control herself to be able to do other things where you're like, this feels way more stressful than what you've done.
yeah,
And I'm like, yeah,
it's just, I mean, there's lots of there's just lots of wrong lead but decent CGI. Correct. I mean, the CGI was on point, and the actual mechs look quite good, and sort of they also look
and the
like
way they move and the way they handle is really clever.
I mean, it was very Pacific Rim, the movement, like, how they...
Yeah.
But apart from having to have the full bodysuit on, it's like, no, you get the gloves to the things, and then you got the feet pad bit that you run on, like you do with these VR sets that you can buy now. So you buy the rig with the special shoes, and if you're running, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's quite good. But yeah, I think, I mean, to be fair, would you, if you could have replaced J-Lo in this movie... Who would you replace her with? And that's the thing I'm struggling with. I can't think of who I would replace her with.
You want somebody that's strong, but also quite somebody that also has that softness about him. I mean, if you went straight like tough, you'd go Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh,
but the problem is you want that softer, genteeler side where she's a little bit nervous, a little bit that.
What about Emily Blunt?
That's literally where I was heading. I was like, she played that role in the Days of Tomorrow or whatever.
Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Yeah,
and I was like, she's got that same kind of energy, and that was the second person I was going for. My problem with her though is there too much softness there? Is there too much? Like, she played really well in that role, but I don't know. Or we could just do what Hollywood does and just put friggin' Scarlett Johansson in it just because it's female.
Oh no!
Doesn't matter the race. Doesn't mean that. We'll just throw her in.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind looking at Scarlett Johansson on screen because damn, it's nice. But yeah, the fact that Scarlett Johansson just gets role after role, and it's just like what was it? What was that movie she did? The one where
Ghost. No, where she's actually the AI.
No. Oh no, that's Ghost in the Shell. No, not that. Yeah, well, that has a layer of problems to begin with. Anyway, Ghost in the Machine.
We can't go into that.
We're not going into that. We're not going into that.
We've got to stay sure by our.
Absolutely, but what was that other? The one where she becomes more intelligent.
I thought that was Ghost. Oh no, it was something like Mary or Sally or something like that.
Lucy, that was it.
It was a short female name.
Yeah, and she becomes basically this synthetic chemical that apparently gets produced during pregnancy. She gets highly ingested because she's a drug mule, and then she becomes. Oh god, it was just weird. But anyway, but the fact that I actually would have enjoyed that movie if I think it wasn't Scarlett Johansson, just because it just felt like they went, oh, we'll buy Scarlett Johansson for this movie.
Because I think the thing is, though, is like we could have also gone down the old school sci-fi route and gone with Mia Jovovich.
Mia Jovovich?
The one from all the Resident Evils.
Oh yeah.
And the other one that I was thinking, which is in a similar vein of, I feel like it's almost a mixture between Scarlett Johansson and Emily Blunt, where she has a little bit more strength, but still has that kindness. Is Charlize Theron.
Wouldn't have been bad. I don't know.
I liked her character in Old World and stuff. Yeah, where she has that kind of mothering thing.
I actually think that might have been quite good. Actually, that might not have been a bad shout. I don't, Charisse. I can't think of her name. I can never say her name. But yeah, I think she would have been quite good actually for that. But yeah,
the only other one that I was thinking maybe if we want to go the more diverse route.
Oh god, here we go.
Is it Priya Shankar, the one that's married to one of the Jonas brothers?
Priya
Chopra Jonas. That's her name.
No, that's
Good actress, plays in a couple of shows like FBI, and stuff like that.
How do you spell her name?
Let's have a look. It is
Oh,
Priyanka.
Priya Ferguson. No,
Priya Chopra Jonas.
Priya Chopra.
So Pyi
Yeah. Oh, Priya Chopra
what
Jonas.
Jonas.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it now.
So she's been in a mixture of romantic films plus action things plus a few other ones like that. I do think that she could go that like she was in a show called Cornico, which was very much in the same vein.
Okay.
Where she kind of was more this analyst, where she was kind of like, oh, and then she kind of obviously over the time learned to be more and more of a badass and became more of an FBI agent. So she was a young recruit working her way up.
Yeah.
So if we're going the more diverse route, I think she'd be another great one.
I mean, damn, she does look good. I'll tell you that. I need to start watching Jonas Brothers more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, that would definitely be a good diversity hire sort of thing. But yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, no, it's just yeah. But I kind of feel like I don't know whether J.Lo Law was the right lead for this. But in terms of storyline, it was actually quite good. And as you said, the movie was paced really well. So I think before, because I saw that it was a 2-hour movie, and when I got in last night to watch it, I was like, oh god, because generally, sometimes I'd had a few beers at this point, and I'm like, oh, do I want to watch a 2-hour movie? And I thought, no, I'll watch it because we're going to do it for the podcast. Going to sit down, so we sat there and I'm watching it, and before I know it, it was finished. And I was like, oh, Craig, okay, all right, no worries, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I finished watching it, and then I did some hell diving, and then after that, I watched the other Netflix movie I've been waiting to watch because I was on my own. Because Elle went to bed. Was Chaos Walking, sort of thing with Tom Spider-Man dude.
Tom Holland. Oh,
Tom Holland. Yeah. I watched that, which was a very odd movie. It was a strange movie to watch at that late.
What is it called?
Chaos Walking. It was Chaos Walking? I'm sure it's called Chaos Walking, isn't it?
In 2021.
Yeah, Chaos Walking. Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
Oh,
Chaos
no,
Walking.
I have seen this one.
Yeah.
She's like the only girl or something.
No, she's not. No. She crashes. Yeah, it's a weird movie. Basically, in this planet, males can hear and project their thoughts because of the radiation in the atmosphere. And it was a pioneer planet for whatever, and then her ship is a follow-up ship because they lost contact with all the colonies, and she ends up crashing on her pod. Her rescue pod crashes near this village, which there's only men left. All the women got killed. Blah 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 blah. X, Y, and Z, and basically Tom Holland falls and is starting to, because obviously he's not seen a girl before. He's like, girl, and it's a bit weird. But you uncover all this thing and all this corruption from the.
Yeah, I know. I have seen this actually. Yeah, because it's got Skywalker in it.
Skywalker.
Ray Skywalker.
Does it? Oh, I missed that. I missed that then.
The lead girl is Daisy.
Oh, it is a Daisy. Oh, she looks completely different then with blonde hair. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But the fact it's obviously it's got my favorite bad guy portrayal player of all time, which is Mads Dittman Mikkelsen. He's just.
Oh yeah.
He is
just plays Hannibal and stuff.
Hannibal, guy out of Casino Royale. He has. I mean, he's just such a good guy for a bad guy, and the fact is that he realizes it as well. Because I know that some actors hate getting typecast into like certain roles. Yeah. The fact is, he's like, no, it's good. I'll take the bad guy. I'll be the bad guy. He's like,
the good thing about it, and we've spoken about this when we did our Marvel one, like episode 2 or 3 or whatever it is. A good bad guy can save a movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you've got a bad guy, it is rubbish. And I think with Atlas as well, they did have a good bad guy because he was quite mysterious. But then when you got to see him, the little bits you get to see him, he seems to genuinely like, I'm just trying to help. Like, I don't know what you guys are trying to stop me for. Where the obviously the big British blacko in it is just amazing. Abraham, he is cool. and he's got that muscle. He's got that thing where he seems to be almost blindly leading this thing. Like when you see Colt, you have a very charismatic ruler, and then you have these big muscle behind him. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I must say, it wasn't what I expected.
Yeah. No. In terms of overall, Atlas, great movie, fabulous, and I will. I'll sign off. I think scoring wise, I think a 7. I feel like a 7.
That's where I was sitting at.
Yeah, I want to give it an 8, but I don't feel like it wasn't like wow. I didn't immediately want to rush and tell Elle that she needs to watch this with me, and so I can have a second viewing sort of thing. That was. But all in all, it was good. It was good. I'll say it was pleasant, and highly recommend everyone to watch it, see what they think, and let
it's
us know.
definitely a good watch. And I know we said we were going to watch it for the podcast, and part of me did go, "Oh man!" When I put it on my phone, I was like, "It's 2 hours." I'm like, "My God, I don't know what they're going to do for 2 hours." Like, hey, it's a robot walking around. But I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please watch the movie yourself. Let us know in the comments on our YouTube channel or on Spotify, and let us know what you thought of the movie. And we'd be very interested to hear that. It'll be quite good. Big shout out to everyone.
And also, who would you cast if not J-Lo?
Oh, actually, that'll be a very good question to ask, actually. But anyway, I want to say a big thank you to all our recent subscribers and followers. Please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, and you can see our beautiful faces if you want to watch us that way. Or you can find us available on all other good podcast forums at Dorks Down Under. And make sure you like and subscribe and share and do all that jazz. It always helps with the algorithm and everything else. I will fix the lighting for this room because something's gone wrong between last week and now. I've got a feeling it's just this dark, miserable grey day is affecting all the natural light in here. So apologies for that. And about to say, I'm travelling the South Island next week, so I've got to find something to watch. So I'm sure me and Dez can pick a movie out of Netflix.
There's one funny one that I've seen that I don't know if it's on next week. It's called Binary Samurai. So
Binary Samurai.
Well, it sounds horrible.
This sounds like a sci-fi made movie. It sounds like the Sci-Fi Channel.
I haven't watched it yet, but looking at it, this could very much just be me and you making it. It was made in 2023, but get this. This is the synopsis. Okay. In the grim future of 1999.
Oh my God, right, for a start off, that sentence alone. I
was like, it was made in 2000, and I've checked. I'm like, it does say 2023. Pretty much, it sounds like civilians collapse and the internet goes out. And unfortunately, because people were so plugged into the thingo, now some of them are locked in what they call nodes, which means that their consciousness is locked inside the internet that's down. And there's pretty much warlords that have samurais that help them, that kind of war to take over said nodes. It sounds horrific.
No. This sounds terrible. We're not watching.
Okay, so maybe we'll pick something else.
We'll pick something else. But anyway, make sure you do tune in for next week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us this week on Dorks Down Under, episode 17. And we'll catch you all later.
Peace.